Now in this last video, we'll finish up the last couple questions for this section. It says, the following table represents the average cost per liter of regular gasoline in Newfoundland and Labrador for the first 6 months of 2011. So for the first 6 months, here's our cost of gasoline. And one option is that we could plot this in a table. And we're asked to use a graph to determine which month the cost per liter of gas decreased or increased by the least amount. So you will put your cost here, place your months, January, February, March, April, May, and June here. Now, obviously we'll write that below. And you can plot this out. I don't want to do that. I think it'd be faster here if you just look at the change occurring between each month. So from February to January, the cost rose and went up by 2.4 cents. From March to February, cost rose again and went up 7.8 cents. Rose again from March to April, another 7.8 cents. And then from April to May, the cost dropped and went down by 6.1. And then from May to June, went down by 1.2 cents. So the month with the smallest decrease was from May to June. And we see that the overall effect is that the price, although it went down, you could look here and say price made a big drop, and it did. But the overall effect, it went from $1.21.2 cents per liter up to $1.31.9 cents per liter. And reasons for this increase would be increased demand. More people will be traveling during this time. Summer months are approaching, so you expect gas to increase at that time. And after June, cost of gas would probably drop. Then the next question, during Terry Fox Run, student volunteers distribute 250 milliliter cups of water to participants as they cross the finish line. Each volunteer carries a canister that holds 64 liters of water. How many cups can one volunteer give out? Well, we need to make a comparison here now. This quantity is in liters, this one's in milliliters. So one volunteer gives out 250 milliliters of water, or divide that by 1,000. Volunteer gives out 0.25 liters, and that's 1 cup. So we take our 64 liters of water that they hold. They will give out this quantity, 0.25 liters, to every participant, which will work out to 256 cups of water. Another way of thinking about that, 1 cup is 0.25 liters, and you have 64 liters. Now your liters would cancel here, leave you with cups, and as you multiply out your fraction, you will get 256 cups. Similar question here below. Cost of loose leaf when you buy 200 sheets is $1.49. If you buy 500 sheets, the cost is $3.49. And we can look at a rate here now. So what is the least you can pay for 100 sheets? Well, you can pay $1.49 for 200, or half that amount for 100 sheets divided by 2, and you would pay 74 cents. And for this case over here, 349 for 500. Now for 100 sheets, divide your cost here by 5. That would give you a price down to 100. So divide by 5. So instead of 500 sheets divided by 5, we'll get a price in terms of 100 sheets. Take your cost, divide that by 5, and now that's down to 70 cents. So we didn't take it down to a price of cost per sheet. We're still looking at in terms of cost per 100 sheets. So which would you pay the least? This case here, you pay the least for 100 sheets. And for 1600 sheets, well, this is a cost for groups of 100. So you would take your answer here, multiply it by 16, and take this answer, multiply it by 16 for 1600s. So the cost would work out to $11.84 for 1600 sheets. And over here, the cost will be $11.20. And for the last question, Betty earns $463.25 in 5 weeks. How much will she earn in 2 years? Well, it's $463.25 in 5 weeks. So making a comparison between weeks and years. So why don't we change this down to now to a cost or earnings per week. So we divide this out. She would make $92.65 in 1 week. Now we're going to make a comparison because we're asking how much would she earn in 2 years. Well, we know that in 1 year there's 52 weeks. So in 2 years there has to be 104 weeks. So now we have a cost per week. We know that 104 weeks are going to pass. So she would earn $9,635 and 60 cents. So when you're handling a question like this, you have to look at what your answer is going to need to be stated in. Here they want the cost for years, while we're only given weeks. So you have to draw that connection between weeks and years. And this last one, a 12 bottle case of motor oil costs $41.88. So you can buy a case of motor oil, 12 bottles in a case, for $41.88. A mechanic needs to order 268 bottles. If he can only order by the case, how much money does he spend? Well, the mechanic wants 260. So ordering by the case, we would look at how many cases would he need. If it's 268 bottles, and it's 12 bottles per case, he would need 22.3 cases. Now you can't order 0.3 of a case, so this has to round up. So you would need to buy 23 cases, and that's at a cost of $41.88. So total cost will be $963.24.